Hi everyone, it's Lynzee, the Ascended Unicorn. I am here today to bring you another tarot energy check-in. Today is February 27th, 2021, and it is the Virgo full moon. I actually just posted a pick a card on my Instagram channel for this, and I thought I'd do a deeper dive into the energies of the Virgo full moon to see what might be coming up for us in the next month. So we'll be digging into those energies a little bit more here. A couple announcements before I get started. I do offer personal readings via live Zoom or private video. You can email me at my email address or DM me on Instagram. Both of those are linked below. Also, for my Instagram, I am almost hitting that 2,000 followers point. So I will be doing a 2K giveaway where I will be giving away a tarot deck and a free reading. So just wanted to give you a look at what that deck will be looks like for my giveaway. I'll be giving away the Legacy of the Divine Tarot. I've used it in a couple of readings in the past on this channel, so if you want to go back and take a look. But it's a really beautiful deck. It comes with a really cool book. This is my deck. I have another copy that has not been opened. So it comes with a really cool book, very full of really good information, and the cards are like really beautiful with the artwork and everything. So I'll be giving that away, so keep an eye out for that. And we'll go ahead and get started with the reading. So just wanted to go over a couple of points for the Virgo full moon. So as we know, full moons are typically about releasing and what we can think about consider thinking about releasing in our lives or in our physical world or maybe internally some old feelings or habits that haven't been serving us. This full moon specifically, Virgo is an earth sign, and it's all about planning and doing things in a process and kind of getting things together in the correct way. So we could be feeling right now pretty inspired. However, physically, maybe we're feeling a little tired. We do know that, with the full moon, the Virgo moon is opposing the Pisces sun, and Pisces is all about dreaming and floaty energy, all of that. So there's this careful balance we have to make about being inspired to take action, but also taking care of ourselves, our physical body, nourishment, making sure that we're getting enough rest and taking care of ourselves, right? So I think the biggest energies here are just that of trying to figure out what it is in our lives that are working for us. Maybe we have some plans that have been working well for us, and maybe there's some things that haven't, and maybe we have to just come to terms with letting some of those things go. So that's a lot of the energy of this Virgo full moon. So we'll go ahead and get into the reading. We're going to start with the Moonology Oracle deck. And we're going to get just some overall energies. I've already shuffled these decks or pre-shuffled these decks, and so I'm not going to shuffle too much here. Also, remember, I do a bottom of the deck message at the end where I take one card from the bottom of each deck that we use and save that for a message for later. So right now, let's get into overall energies for this Virgo full moon for the collective. What are the overall energies we might be feeling for this Virgo full moon today? I'll take that one though. Oh, I'll take those two. So we have nothing is set in stone, and we have be bold and make the first move. So I think, and we also see, this very watery energy balancing out with this very red, purpley energy. And we see these two crescent moons kind of opposing each other. So I think that really gives a nod to that balancing act that we're trying to play, where it's nothing is yet set in stone. So we can still, keep making plans and keep making decisions to how we would like to move forward. We don't have to feel like anything is isn't able to change, or we aren't able to change, or we aren't able to change something in our lives, right? We are able to change something if we make that decision to change something. We don't have to settle, and we don't have to believe that things just are the way they are. If we want to make a change, we can. So in order to make that change, you do have to be bold and make that first move, right? But again, maybe during this time, you just want to think about what it is you want to do to make that first move and plan on what that first move is. Just with this Virgo energy, that's very, action and inspire oriented, but also making sure that your physical body is capable of doing all of these things, right? So then I actually pulled this Success Oracles deck just because it has some really cool messages here with like individuals that have been successful in their lives. And I think the Virgo full moon has a lot to say about how to make plans to be successful in your own life from a physical world point of view. So I thought it would be cool to pick a couple of these cards as well. Maybe one or two of these individuals might be inspiring to you, or you may have a connection to them personally. All right. So we'll take two out of here. Oh, Beyonce. Very relevant. So we have Beyonce, which says, choreograph career moves only you can follow. Your public image is your private property. Brand your benevolence. So I think, we all know Beyonce is a very strong woman. We know that she says what she wants to say, but she does so in a creative way. She says, choreograph career moves only you can follow. So you can create those moves, this bold movement that you want to make, but do it in your own unique way. I think Virgo energy is also about like what it is that you uniquely have to make things happen. Everybody has a different way of doing things. There's no one right way to get to like the goal or the end game. But with Virgo energy, you want to get to the end game. But in this, what this card is really saying is do it in the way that is best for you and what makes it uniquely you, and try and do something creative with it. Like get creative. If you feel like you're feeling blockages or you don't know how to get somewhere, take some time to rethink how can you change something to maybe try something new to get to the same place that you thought you weren't able to get to by doing something you've always been doing in the past, or something that you're used to doing, or an action you're used to taking. Like change your perspective a little bit and try and figure out what it is that you can do. We also see all these like flowers and things springing up behind her in this yellow, like solar plexus chakra, which is like very, like your strength and everything. And also I think springtime is coming. That seems to be a theme that I've been seeing lately, that can change your perspective and also make you feel a little bit better, since things are starting to like wake up and like bloom and blossom and things like that. And then we have, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Prada. So what this card says is, strike while the market is hot. Apply your pattern to the big picture. Wear many hats, but design all of them. So I think, again, this is a lot about like planning. Like, when is it that you want to make that first move? Like we talked about, when you start feeling good and have that energy and that passion inside of you, strike when the market is hot so that you can get the most out of it. You don't want to do it when you're not feeling up to par or feeling good, because you might lose energy altogether. When if you had your energy completely full and you were able to do this, you would still be able to like take your action. Then you can give it your all. You don't really want to half-ass something, pardon my French. Think about the big picture also. Like, you don't want to get really hyper-focused on individual moments where you're having troubles. You can always get through those moments, but think about the big picture and like what you're trying to achieve overall. And then wear many hats. Like, don't like pigeon-toe yourself into something that is like you feel is the only thing you can do or the only thing you're good at. You don't know if you don't try. So if you try different things and you become familiar with all these different steps that you need to take, you can have a better picture of like the whole and the end. So wherever you're trying to get to, like try and put yourself in like the position of looking at all the different steps that you need to take, and how can you be that person that can move yourself along, and like be the thing that you need to get there. You don't necessarily need someone else to do things for you because they're better at it, right? You can take their advice and you can take their help, but you still should really take ownership of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, and like use your own talents to get there and your own ways to get there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the tarot. We're going to be using the Tarot of the Divine. And I really felt called to this one, I think, because of the back on this. The moons are really cool here. It's got the moon phases on there. And I really love the artwork on this deck as well. Do one more shuffle. All right, so we're going to do a 5-card or a 5-placement spread. And we're going to be going through what you've created since the last full moon. Where are you now? What is no longer serving you? Strengths and how to harness them, or strengths and how to harness them and how to release if we need to. And then next steps coming in. So we'll go ahead and take the first placements. What have you created or manifested since the last full moon that we had? So we have Strength and the Ace of Wands. So I think in this instance, it's about understanding that you don't have all the answers and not letting your ego get in your way. So you've been able to release that a little bit and not like really being so hard on yourself for not having all the answers or not solving all the problems, but instead taking, like we talked about, a new perspective and like rethinking, how do I approach this from a different angle? Maybe because you've released this energy of like being so hard on yourself, you've been able to manifest something new into your life because you've changed your perspective, whether it be a new job, a new relationship, a new friendship. Maybe you're connecting with some new like-minded people that you just recently met, and maybe you started talking to them about your interests because you were no longer afraid to talk about them, or talk about some of the problems you're having and to get their advice. So now that you've made these new connections, you're starting to manifest these new opportunities that are coming into your life. So I think from the last full moon, that's something that you worked on, is releasing either being embarrassed, being too hard on yourself, not accepting that you are not, some of us have like that we need to be perfect all the time kind of thoughts, and we don't need to be perfect. We're human. We're supposed to be here for the human experience and make mistakes and solve problems. And the way we solve problems is by talking them out with others, and getting and learning from different experiences, right? So having those conversations about experience have probably helped to manifest new opportunities and new connection points for you. So second placement here is, where are you now? What energy is currently with us now? The Chariot, movement forward. I think it also, goes with this, be bold and make the first move. And we see the water here with the, it's kind of these cards put together with the water and the movement. The Chariot is like being able to understand what direction you want to go in. So I think that's actually a really good energy to be in, especially with the supporting Virgo full moon, like being able to have these new opportunities and new connection points come in for you. You've been able to recognize them and you're now ready to move forward. You have to kind of make the decision which direction you want to go exactly. But you have made that deciding factor of, okay, I want to move forward with this, right? You've made the choice into what opportunity you want to move forward into. But you want to maybe think about the details, what exactly the step-by-step is, maybe the logistics, maybe how from, a positioning standpoint or approach standpoint. But in general, which opportunities you'd like to take advantage of, which connection points you'd like to take advantage of, and how it can be a reciprocal kind of give and take with those energies and those opportunities. And you've really you can see this guy really confident in the choice that he's making to move forward. So that's a really good energy. I like that. Placement number 3. So what could possibly no longer be serving you? What's something that could no longer be serving you right now? All right, so we have the 6 of Wands reversed, and we have the 7 of Coins reversed. So I think it kind of goes back to this first placement of that Strength reverse card, of understanding that you don't have all the answers, but also not being so upset that the things that maybe you've been putting a lot of effort and work into haven't really come to complete fruition yet, or aren't going as planned, or maybe you've had a lot of bumps in the road, or things are kind of going wonky, or there's something that just feels off or not aligned. Whatever that thing is, don't get so upset that it's not successful, because we learn from things that don't go right? Like the way we learn some of our lessons and the way we learn how to solve problems is by working through past problems and past situations. So I think what's no longer serving you right now is just that feeling of frustration that you may have, or being upset that things aren't working out exactly as you planned. Remember, when we try to control things, it just creates blockages, because we really aren't necessarily always in control. We can control things to the point where we know we're making the right decisions, and we have to trust ourselves for making those decisions, but we can't control outside energies, and we can't control other people or the universe. Things will happen as they're supposed to, and you have to just trust that you're making the right decision for you, what feels good. And don't be so upset when things don't work out, because sometimes when things don't work out, it creates something else that maybe you never even thought about, an opportunity that you never even thought about, because maybe you have to shift gears and you have to start thinking outside the box and thinking new. So I think releasing, what you should think about releasing or consider releasing that's no longer serving you, is just this upset energy or frustration that you're holding on to for things not working out. You have realized that you don't have all the answers, but you need to take that extra step into deciding, I'm not going to hold on to this upset or angry or frustrated energy any longer. I have to just accept that things are going the way they are. They maybe aren't working out exactly as I planned, but as we move forward, things will unravel the way they're supposed to, and I will soon see why, because other things will be coming in for you. All right, what's a strength that we have right now that we can help us in this situation to release what's no longer serving you, and help us kind of get through to the rest of the month and utilize through the rest of the month? What's the strength that we have right now? What's the strength that we have right now? Okay, so we have the Death card, and we have the Page of Coins reversed. So the Death card is probably one of the more misunderstood cards in the tarot deck. It typically doesn't necessarily mean death as in literal death or mortal death. It means the ending of something. It usually, and it can also mean transformation. So there could be something changing, and that's like your strength is you're embracing the change. And the Page of Coins reversed is something about, I think, kind of connects back to the Seven of Coins reverse, where it's like things that you have planted and you haven't, or like ideas that you've been working on haven't really coming to fruition. I think this opportunity is you're kind of letting, you're understanding that change is happening, and you're accepting that, and you're letting whatever this opportunity was, or whatever project this was, or whatever relationship this was, or situation this was that you were holding so close to you that you were like, it has to work, it has to work, it has to work. Your strength right now is accepting that things are changing and letting that go. And I think this obviously is a good strength to have in releasing this other energy about the frustration of it. Like you were holding on to this, whatever this was, so hard. You're now accepting that change is inevitable, and it's probably good for you now to just let that go. But then the last step is really like getting rid of this frustration. So really lean into that acceptance. How does it feel to accept change? And then similarly use that feeling to accept things just aren't working out the way it should have, or the way you thought it should have, or the way you wanted, and release that frustration. Don't internalize it. Don't blame yourself. It kind of, I used to actually hate the term "it is what it is" just because I didn't understand it. And now I do. It's like, it's okay to say it is what it is, and we tried, and now we move on. And using this strength of acceptance of change is definitely going to help you in releasing this frustration energy. We already saw you release this ego energy and this energy of feeling like you had to solve all the problems and you had to have all the answers, right? So I like the progression here of you're in this like really good feeling of acceptance, and you're moving forward into releasing the last piece, which is that frustration. You know what direction you want to go in. You know the connections and the opportunities that are within your that are in your front window of where you want to go towards. You're heading towards those things, but the last piece is really letting go of any residual energies that you had from your last opportunity, connection, project, relationship, whatever it is for you, and then using this strength of acceptance of change to let the thing that you were holding on to go, and release that frustration behind it. All right, so our last placement is next steps, what might be coming in for you. Next steps, what might be coming in for you. I feel like that's way too many cards. Next steps, what might be coming in for you. Next steps, what might be coming in for you. Okay, we have the Four of Coins reversed, the Ace of Cups, and the Four of Cups. So I think this says to me, what may be coming in is, or I mean, maybe not coming, well, let's talk this through really quick. So next steps, I think, is something about being more open-minded and being able to maybe recognize something that you wouldn't typically either be attracted to or be open to considering. The Four of Coins to me is like, when it's reversed, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to release some of my rigidness or controlling energies and maybe be open to something new. I'm not going to hold on to something so tightly that I can't have a new perspective or change my perspective or change things. So I'm going to be open to what new possibilities are available to me. And then we see this Ace of Cups, which is either, which can be self-love, can be self-acceptance, can be, filling up your cup with happy and joy, and like just living life in this way of like knowing that you have all you need. But I think, there's someone else pouring into this cup. So I think there's something coming in for you that's going to help you to fill this cup. But you may need to pay attention to what that is, because it's going to be coming in a way that isn't typical for you. There could be a different opportunity that you may maybe scoff at in the past, or maybe you never would have given it a second thought, or maybe there's someone that you are going to connect with either on like a networking basis from a career, job, or project standpoint, or even a friend that you never would have considered hanging out with. Maybe it was just this person was just an acquaintance in the past, or someone you know from Facebook or something like that. And also maybe a love relationship that maybe someone that's right in front of you that you never would have noticed because you were holding on to this expectation. I think that's something that comes to mind, is expectations with this four of coins reversed, letting go of expectations and be open to new possibilities. Expectations are really the things that create the pain for ourselves, right? Because we get so disappointed that things don't turn out the way we wanted to or expect them to, right? Like we see here, and you get frustrated and disappointed about that. But you are accepting this your strength right now is acceptance of change. So with that comes the releasing of expectation and the releasing of the way you've always done things, or the way that you've always been, or the way that you've always thought, or the way that you always thought things would happen. So there is something coming in for you that's going to be not typical for you. It's going to be something you would have never thought before. So definitely keep your eyes open as to what that could be, and don't turn anything down. Don't necessarily say no to anything. If someone asks you, hey, do you want to have a conversation? Don't turn it down right away. Like, take that conversation, take that phone call, take that Zoom call, whatever it is, and just talk it through. What hurt can that do? It really is just time. And it's not time wasted, because you're taking the time to learn about, is this something that I want to do, or is this a person I want to deal with or let into my energy field or my vortex or whatever it is. And so it is time well spent, because you can either add it to your plus list or add it to your negative list, which is very Virgo mindset, right? Virgo is all about lists and planning and things. So maybe make a plus or minus list. I don't know. But yeah, I get a lot of like, expectation, letting go of expectation here. So that feels like your next step in what's coming in for you is you're letting go of expectations. You're being open-minded. There's going to be something that's going to come in and fill up your cup of either, abundance and wealth and whatever it is that you've been dreaming and manifesting and wanting, but you have to pay attention to what those opportunities are coming in, because it's not going to be a traditional opportunity that you'd usually be attracted to or want or think that you want, right? It's all about like being open to new things and possibilities. So that was our tarot message. So I think, again, like I mentioned, the progression is really cool. And then we have like these really great, success energies about like taking the moves that are very unique to you and trying new things. So I really like this message, and it really does like align with the Virgo energies of planning, going towards something that you dream, desire, work, goal, work towards as a goal. But you want to do it in a way that's unique to you. And you just need to, once you can come into that acceptance of anything of like that disappointment of things that didn't happen the way you wanted or the way that you had hoped from before, you can move on into finding something else that could blossom like the flowers into something great that you could never have expected on your own. All right, we're going to end with some advice and affirmations. So we have the moon deck here. We're going to pull a couple from. All right, give us some last pieces of advice, affirmation from Spirit for this Virgo for moon on February 27th, 2021. My emotions move through cycles and connect me to my truth. So I think that's what this whole reading is about, is like a full cycle, right? Like, or at least the ending of this full cycle of like going through this. I tried, I planted my seeds. It didn't necessarily go as planned, but now I can take what I've learned, take the lessons, take the wisdom, come to that acceptance, let myself feel to heal, right? You need to feel to heal with those emotions and then move into that next cycle for yourself. We'll take one more piece of advice or affirmation from Spirit. I shed habits that hinder my truth and I release and renew. Yes, yes, yes. Shedding the habits of how you've always been and how I've always done things. Holding on so tightly to the ways you've been in the past and, opening up like we saw in that last placement of the next steps and what's coming in. Be confident to that you can shed that skin and you can change and you can approach things differently. Because there's new stuff coming in, you just have to make the space for it and you have to be ready and open to see it, right? Because it can come in all at once, and then if we miss it because we weren't paying attention, because we kept expecting something from our past, or how we've always done things, So I'm going to take the last couple cards from our Divine Messages deck, just for a couple last closing messages. So we have Falcon. Use your keen perception and skill in making decisions. Do not delay. So I think that's great advice in, making that decision like we see with this Chariot and what direction you need to go. Like, the goal you want to go towards, but how are you going to get there? So make sure you're using your personal perception and the skills that you have, because the reason that you're taking these movements forward is because you are skilled in whatever it is that you're moving towards. So trust yourself in that and use your keen perception, but don't take too long in making that decision on what that will look like, okay? Because the more you ponder, the more you dilute that, and you just kind of got to trust yourself sometimes. Woodpecker, use your discernment and fortitude to achieve your goals and find a new rhythm. Aw, that's a really cool message to close this out with, because that's kind of what the theme of this whole message is finding that new way to approach things, opening up to the new, finding a new rhythm. Maybe the way that you worked before isn't the best way, and you can just like make a little bit of tweaks and find a new way to dance, right? All right, so that was a really great reading. We're going to go over here to take the bottom of the deck message really quick to end everything and wrap it up. Just give me 1 second. All right, so I think this last message is actually a really cool way to wrap this up, because it kind of like takes this whole reading and just takes it a step above and like kind of is this like message that can be trickled down into it. Like, this is all the like nitty gritty, and I, my boss on my day job calls it in the weeds. So this is all the in the weeds stuff that you need to be working on individually. But then we have to also think about what is like the vibe or the essence of how we move forward and how we do this. So balancing spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. So, we are in Pisces season. And like I said, with this full moon in Virgo, it's the opposite sign of Pisces. So we are finding that balance between physical and spiritual. So finding that balance as far as like the alignment with you from a physical point of view, as a being, as a human, as the things that you resonate with as a person in your physical world, what you're capable of, what your energy is able to let you accomplish, and you have the energy to do, but also making sure it aligns with your spiritual path, and that you're doing something that makes you feel good. And that pushes you on whatever that purpose is that you've discovered in your life. Maybe it's helping people. Maybe it's being really good at solving problems. Maybe it's being a trainer or a teacher in whatever field that it is you're in. So finding that balance between what it can do for you as a human in your physical world, but also the fulfillment and the alignment from your true self and like your spiritual self. We move into log in. The newsfeed is always starving. Update your terms and conditions. Like, log in, like, focus, dial it in. Once you've just decided this is where I want to go, I found that balance, I know the thing I want to go towards, like, log in, commit to it, refocus, and work towards that thing. King of Swords, take the action, be true and honest in your actions forward. But you can see this, it kind of reminds me of a phoenix, but it has like a lion body, but it looks very determined, and it's ready to fight for what it wants. This creature. So he's the king of, his own life, and he's going towards it. He found his balance. He logged in and refocused, and now he's ready to fight for what he wants. And then just also realizing there's medicine in my shadow. Don't let things get you down if they don't go well, or that you have a bad day, or you have a bad moment, or you feel emotional one day, or you fall backwards a little bit into like an old headspace, because that's our shadow side, and we need to embrace that ourselves. We have to love ourselves wholly, and that is what helps us to learn too. You have to let yourself go through it. You can't just block it out. And it'll help you to ground and like stay realistic, because you have all this like very like airy, well, I guess Pisces isn't necessarily air, but that balance is like very like action, practical kind of feeling here, logging in, fighting for what you believe in, but then also like, no, you're not perfect. Like we talked about, like, continue to believe that you aren't supposed to be perfect. And there is a lesson in anything that happens that is a challenge or a problem or something you have to get through. There is medicine in that. Let go of convention and follow your own unique path. Yay. That's that's exactly what we're talking about in that last, what's coming in for you with the, here, let me find it really quick. This last placement, that's exactly, it basically says it in that one little blurb. Let go of convention and follow your own unique path. It kind of wraps everything up really well. So super cool reading. I really like it. You're in some really good energies, some good energies coming towards you. I mean, there's a little bit of work in front of us, but it's all good stuff. As long as we can like be kind to ourselves and accept what is. Don't put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. Be open to new ideas and new plans. Accept your uniqueness and your magic, your personal magic, and kind of follow your own unique path, and let go of what you expect and what you think is supposed to be, and be open to new things. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Just remember, this was a general reading, so not all messages will resonate, but I hope some of them did for you. And I love you, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.